Welcome back to Let's Talk About Tobacco. I'm Lee Keller, and with me is Janiece Davis, Dr. Barry Hummel, and Dr. Michael Feinstein. Last one, and I got it right. Okay, I feel like I just won. We're talking about the way that they market tobacco to children today. Even though it's illegal for them to start using tobacco, they're using it, and they've got some very clever ways of disguising tobacco as if it's candy.
Right, and the danger of that, which is that it's easier to get in the hands of a child when the packaging starts to be morphed into something so that maybe the store clerks don't know what they're selling, or maybe a parent doesn't know what it is when it's sitting on their desk. You know, we were talking about candy cigarettes a while back, and there were bubblegum cigars way back in the past too, and this was a product that you would never confuse with a real cigar. It's a hot pink bubblegum cigar. But what happened in recent years is, why don't we just make a flavored cigar? This is an actual cigar that's in a hot pink plastic tube. So which is the trick and which is the treat?
Oh, that's
right?
bad.
This is a real cigar. It just happens to be in a plastic tube. It's a strawberry flavored cigar in this circumstance. It's clearly marketed to teenage girls. But the idea, when I saw this on the shelf the first time, I thought they'd put bubblegum cigars up in the rack just to get kids to look up there. And then I realized it was actually more deceitful than that. Even chewing tobacco has been mimicked. There's things like Big League Chew, which really, you know, this was designed by baseball players to give kids an alternative to chewing tobacco. But
That's
really,
bubblegum, right?
It's shredded bubblegum in a pouch. But why do we need shredded bubblegum in a pouch? It just lets the kids condition themselves.
Yes.
The message there is, don't do it now. Do this, you'll get there. So it's not about the dangers and stopping and abstinence of tobacco. It's about delayed gratification. We'll do this later when you're older. But where they really started to twist it, I think probably at the beginning of the 2000s, was with candy-flavored cigarettes. And so they started to market containers like this. This one's Camel Dark Mint. Doesn't say Camel Dark Mint cigarette, you'll notice.
Okay.
It doesn't say Creamy Mellow Mint Tobacco on there. It just says Camel Dark Mint. And some of the cans were even more deceitful than this, and you would have never known that it was cigarettes in the can. It was
I wouldn't know that now.
You know, and again, we're conditioned to think that this is a cigarette pack. So when I morph it to this and it sits on my desk at home, mom or dad doesn't really realize what's in the package. Now the good news was this was banned because the FDA finally got control of this in 2009. The first thing they did was ban candy-flavored cigarettes. So in response to that, we move into this product, which is a peach-flavored, what they call cigar. This is a Clipper peach cigar.
So they can differentiate it between cigarette and cigar, and that's legal?
Well, because flavored cigars are not dealt with by the FDA. So by simply calling this a flavored cigarette, and I have another one that's actually open, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. Here they want the cigars, though, to look like cigarettes. You see the twisted game they play? And so what you have is you have a cigarette that's grape flavored, that's in brown paper, and the paper has been stained with tobacco juice so that they can technically say, ooh, we made a cigar. So now these bypass the FDA regulation, and you have grape flavored cigarettes that exist only because the manufacturer declared them cigars.
What else do you have in your bucket
Well,
there?
gosh, it just gets worse and worse and worse. Here's a thing called Icebreakers Frost. These are mints. We're familiar with these. Here's a product that Camel made that's a smokeless tobacco that Dr. Feinstein mentioned a few minutes ago called Snooze. And these are basically tea bag sized or material that have smokeless tobacco in them. So this is your clean, spitless sort of tobacco that has been marketed to kids in what looks like...
You swallow it?
No, well, you swallow the juice, which who knows what the impact of that's going to be. And what's interesting about that is, compare that to an Altoids tin. I mean, this is what we're talking about.
They look almost the same.
This is where the confusion pops up. And so you're looking at different packaging to imply that this is somehow safer. You'll notice, again, it doesn't say tobacco. It's Camel, Snooze, Frost. They bought these companies from Scandinavia to buy the word snooze. They don't have to use the word tobacco on this product. And so now kids may not know they're buying tobacco. Clerks may not realize they're selling tobacco, which means they're certainly not checking IDs. And then, again, when it's sitting on your desk at home, who's going to check it? And when it's in your pocket, I mean, look at the shape. It looks like a flip phone. And when it's in a pocket, it looks exactly like a flip phone. So you could be walking on campus with this. You could be using it on a school campus. and nobody may be the wiser because of the deception perpetrated by the tobacco companies to do this.
Now, Janiece, you've done a lot with the candy-flavored tobaccos.
I have. One of the things that is very important to remember is that these products were intentionally made to look like flavored candy products. And there's a report by the FDA that was put out in 2004 that showed that only 6.8% of adults 25 and older actually use flavored tobacco products. Compare that to about 22% of underage kids who use them. So you have about almost 4 times the amount of kids who legally cannot buy these products who are using them compared to the adults who are 25 years and older. What does that tell you? Who is the product really marketed towards? And think about it. A kid on average eats about 25 pounds of candy every single year, just candy alone. So if I know that kids eat 25 pounds of candy and I want the kids to use my tobacco product, what's the most obvious way to get the kids to use them is, well, to flavor it to taste like candy. And there are internal documents from the tobacco industry themselves that show that they actually made these with the intent for youth to sell them, because think about it, if all the smokers who are 50 and older start dying off, and I don't have any kids start picking up the habit due to clean indoor air acts, outdoor tobacco-free parks policies, tobacco-free schools, smoke-free homes and cars, which is catching on now, how am I going to get my share of the market back? If they die off, nobody's going to be buying my product anymore. So how can I market it to them to make it flavorful and appealing to the kids? Well, candy-flavored tobacco products. And unfortunately for some of these products, that a child who is 6 and under can't differentiate between them and candy, so you have accidental overdoses in kids 6 and under from using these products and thinking that it's candy. So that's what we're also trying to bring awareness. And you think about, not every county has a product placement ordinance that says that tobacco has to be behind the counter, where the clerk has to be the one to give it to you. So you have some counties where it's on the counter, or it's actually paid by the tobacco industry to be placed right next to the candy aisle.
Really?
So you have candy, and you have tobacco, and you have your chips. So if I see candy and tobacco next to each other, and if I see this candy package right here in Dr. Hummel's Marlboro package, and I'm in a rush and I don't know which one is which, I grabbed this one by accident, and I'm like, oh, actually I got cigarettes, then there's a problem. And then you think about the ads that are at a convenience store, how you, especially in low-income areas where the entire outside of the wall is plastered with tobacco advertising, tobacco and alcohol ads. And then you go inside the store where at the counter there is an ad for tobacco right at the kid's eye level. That ad's not for you or for us to see, it's for the child, especially when they go out to the door of the convenience store when they get ready to pull the door. Right where their eyes are, the ads are for the kids to see. So it's all about not just the creation and marketing of these products, but where they're actually placed at the store, where the ads placed at the store, trying to get the image impressed in the kid's mind repeatedly over and over.
It's very obvious we could talk about tobacco use and the abuse that the tobacco companies go through to make our youth use tobacco forever. But that's all we have time for. And thank you for being on the show, and we're going to hopefully have more of this in the future so that people will be able to talk about tobacco use and avoid use when they're in their youth.